purpose of these particular wagons on German federal railways? A lot of people make the assumption that they're the German version of the North American caboose or the British brake van, and in fact they're neither. They're a very specialized piece of equipment that ran on German goods or freight trains that had numerous purposes. Their primary purpose was to provide a rolling office for the freight master to do his paperwork and processing on. The secondary purpose was to provide accommodation for the surprisingly large number of crew that worked German freight trains and needed to stay somewhere and rest between jobs. These would be brakemen and so on, and as well as a guard. And there would be seating and cooking facilities inside there for them to take avail of. There was also extra space for carrying packages and small goods, and the observation cupola on the top, as Americans called them, to allow the guard to check the train in both directions. Now, regarding their location in the train, there's a tendency for people like myself who for years used to put them on the back of the train, on the rear of the train, like you would a caboose, like you would a brake van on a British train. But they didn't normally do that. These would often go, this is a Fleischmann model by the way, very nice one, behind the locomotive, believe it or not. This was to aid direct communication between the driver, the fireman and the rest of the crew. And so they didn't go at the end. They were not used for braking. They did have an internal brake for braking the actual vehicle itself, and could also act as a secondary braking system for the locomotive if necessary, but that wasn't the primary purpose. Also, on many German rural lines you had stations that were not fully staffed, and you would still need personnel and so on to operate the brakes on the actual shunting, the switching, as the locomotive guided the wagons into various sidings and industries and so on. So there's a thing to remember. These were never brake vans. They were never intended for that purpose. They're a specific type of rolling stock for German railways that allows the crew as well as the guard to do office work, rest, cook between journeys, and also to provide instant communication between the guard and the locomotive crew and firemen. And they were always, well, not always, but they were generally coupled directly behind the locomotive.